do you know who put the hole in the donut? Or the true story behind America's sweetheart, Betty Crocker? Meet the chef who created spaghetti ice cream and the man behind the most bizarre KitKat flavors with these great big stories.
Donuts. The guiltiest of guilty pleasures. But where did the donut get its shape? And more specifically, who put the hole in the donut? Two competing theories set the stage for what would become known as a great donut debate.
If you think of the quintessential American sweet snack, it is in fact the donut.
That's Michael Crondall. He wrote this book,
The Donut, History, Recipes, and Lore from Boston to Berlin.
Suffice to say, Crondall's what you call a donut expert.
When you have something so central to a culture as a donut is to American culture, you want to tell stories around it.
And we here at Great Big Story are no exception. The first part of our story takes us to 1916, where a Boston Post reporter interviewed Hanson Crockett Gregory.
Gregory gives this long interview where he explains how he invented it, which was that he was on board ship when he was around 15 years old. But he had the clever idea of poking out the middle so that the whole thing would cook evenly. This, he claims, made him the Columbus of the donut hole.
Gregory's story spread like wildfire.
The story was picked up by newspapers all over the country. This made him a star. It was a little unclear why they believed the story of an 85-year-old sailor, given the reputation sailors have.
Skepticism aside, donuts grew more and more popular over the years, due in large part to a donut dunking fad.
Donut dunking becomes a national obsession.
In 1941, the National Dunking Association, yes, a real thing, hosted the Great Donut Debate, where the question was, who put the hole in the donut?
And on one side of the debate was the proposal that Captain Gregory had in fact invented the donut hole, as he had explained, which is as a youth on the ship.
And on the other side, Chief High Eagle of the Wampanoag tribe.
Chief High Eagle had a completely different story. Many generations ago, a member of his tribe was pursuing a settler. And this settler apparently had a donut in her hand, and this young Indian brave shot an arrow which created a hole right in the middle of the donut.
In the end, the celebrity panel awarded Gregory with the innovation. And though we can never prove that Hanson Crockett Gregory put the first hole in the donut, the tale lives on.
Delightful.
Cakes, cookies, and brownies. No, we're not going to show you how to make them, because they can be made with ease thanks to Betty Crocker, who was born in 1921 in Minnesota. Well, kind of. In 1921, the Washburn Crosby Company, now known as General Mills, ran a contest for people to complete a puzzle for the most coveted prize, a pincushion. Yes, one of your very own. Surprisingly, a lot of people wrote in to claim their prize, but with a little PS.
How do I make my sponges? How much flour should I use?
They wanted baking advice. So the customer service department began to reply, and to make their tips seem more genuine, they signed their letters Betty Crocker. Betty, because it was a cheery, all-around American-sounding name, and Crocker after a board member. Not being a real person didn't stop Betty Crocker from having a very successful radio show, the Betty Crocker Cooking School of the Air, with a different accent in every state.
Welcome to the Betty Crocker Cooking School of the Air.
But the lies don't stop there. Let's talk about that added ingredient, the egg. You don't need to add a fresh egg to powdered cake mix, but science says it makes us feel like we aren't cheating and we're better providers. So thanks, Betty Crocker, for making us all feel like we know how to bake.
Betty, you didn't know that.
Ah, spaghetti. Wait, something's not right. Reverse, a little bit more. Okay, whipped cream. A bit weird to have that with spaghetti, but let's go with it. What? Ice cream? Ah, it's ice cream, everybody. Strawberry sauce, white chocolate. Oh, yes. Spaghetti ice cream. Thank you to whoever came up with that.
Ich bin Dario Fontanella, Erfinder von Spaghetti-Eis.
Whoa. Okay, let me get this straight. Pasta and gelato, two iconic Italian foods that have beautifully collided in Germany. Oh, right. But before all our Italian viewers get angry at us, we should explain that it was Dario's Italian grandfather who started the family's ice cream obsession. That it was Dario whose invention changed the world.
Also das erste Mal war ich 17 Jahre alt, das war 1969. Und dann habe ich in der Eisdiele von meinem Vater die ersten Experimente gemacht. Das ist ein Schlagsahnebett, Vanilleeis, die durch eine Spätzlepresse oder eine Kartoffelpresse und das soll die Pasta sein. Dann haben wir eine Erdbeersoße, die eben die Tomatensoße vertreten soll. Und dann haben wir weiße Schokoladeraspel, die den Parmigiano ersetzen. Die weiße Schokoladeraspel. Und es war eine totale, ist heute noch Gänsehaut, eine totale Erfindung.
The family began selling the new invention from their ice cream parlor.
Kinder waren überrascht. Manche haben auch eine Träne losgelassen, andere haben ein langes Gesicht gezogen, weil sie erwartet haben, dass sie Eis essen dürfen und dachten nicht, dass sie jetzt Nudeln haben. Das probiert und es war natürlich sofort ein Erfolg.
So apart from making children cry, the dish proved popular. Actually, popular might be an understatement.
Also es hat schon 4, 5, 6 Jahre gedauert, bis in ganz Deutschland Spaghetti-Eis angeboten wurde. Über 30 Millionen Mal pro Jahr diese Spezialität in Deutschland angeboten wird.
For Dario, his invention has catapulted him to ice cream fame.
Ich habe das höchste bürgerliche Orden bekommen. Es war natürlich eine große Ehre. Werde ich eben begrüßt immer als Erfinder von Spaghetti-Eis.
But the most important thing isn't ice cream fame. The important thing is the fun of it all.
Eis in Form von Spaghetti bekommen, ist es natürlich eine totale Überraschung.
You're telling me. It freaked me out a little bit at the beginning of this video. But I sort of want it now.
Ice cream for dinner? Yes, please.
I knew I liked baking and I knew I was good at it, so I decided to start a business off of it. There were people that are going through a rough time and I just wanted to give them something that I know they don't get all the time. They probably get soup, probably get a sandwich, but I wanted to give them something like a cupcake. So every dessert that someone buys, I give dessert to someone in need.
This great big story was made possible by Geico. Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
My name is Michael Platt and I am the owner of Michael's Desserts. I was 11 years old when I started and now I'm 14 years old. I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 8 or 9 and it got me into baking because I was doing a bunch of other stuff. I was doing gymnastics, I was swimming, climbing trees, riding my bike. Epilepsy put a bunch of restrictions on those other things, but there were no restrictions on baking. When I start baking, I do like the flour, sugar, eggs, butter. And I'll put that in the oven for 15 minutes and then make the icing and whatever I'm filling the cupcake with. After the cupcakes have cooled and everything is made, I will ice the cupcake and package it. On average, I go through probably 20 pounds of flour, 15 pounds of sugar, a couple gallons of heavy cream, and around 6 boxes of cocoa powder per month. I sell around 170 cupcakes a month, and that also means that I donate around 170 cupcakes a month. Since the beginning, I've donated almost 10,000 cupcakes. My parents got me a pair of Tom's shoes for Christmas, and Tom's shoes business model is 1 for 1. So I decided to do that with my business. So every dessert that someone buys, I give a dessert to someone in need. Most of the time, I just go around DC feeding the homeless, or I'll go into homeless shelters. This is my way of telling them that I haven't forgotten about them. To also make sure that I put extra love and care into them to make sure that the people who are getting them enjoy them a lot. The best part for me is if I don't feel like it, if I'm tired, I'm baking all week, just the thought that I am doing this helps someone else just gets me up and running. It's like fuel. My dessert is spelled with no apostrophe, and in grammar, apostrophe means ownership. So I decided to do no apostrophe because I wanted it to be a reminder to me that I'm not doing this for myself, but I'm doing it for other people.
Take a look at the chef who is making KitKat flavors you wouldn't believe.
Cheesecake, banana, rum raisin, purple sweet potato, wasabi. These are just a few of the KitKat flavors of Japan, a country where the love of this crispy chocolate wafer runs deep. And one man continues to push the flavor frontier further and further. But before we get to him, here's a little background info.
キットカットは1973年に初めて日本にやってきました。すごく人気があるチョコレートでして、実際、マーケットシェアで日本のチョコレートの中ではナンバーワンの商品です。
And there are a lot of flavors to choose from.
今まで日本で発売されたキットカットは約400種類以上になります。
And those flavors can change based on where you are in the country.
北海道からですね、沖縄までそれぞれの地域の特産物を、味にしたキットカットがあります。例えば北海道のメロンであったりとか、九州は紅芋であったりとか。
And the genius behind many of these flavors is a classically trained pastry chef.
私の名前は高木康政です。職業はパティシエです。自分の時代のキットカット、ミルクチョコレートベースしかなかったんで、自分が携わるようになってから、そうじゃないよねって。最初はね、パッション味ですね。情熱のパッション。50種類以上はやってるし、その試作してね、やったのはもっともっと数が多いですね。へーっていう商品があったり、それからっていう商品もあったり、一番最初は自分のお店の厨房で自分が試作してこう作るわけですよね。まずチョコレートがありまして、ウェハースをね、こう切って用意して、で、型にチョコレートを流して、で、流したらそこに切っといたウェハースを入れて、で、上を鳴らすわけですね、チョコレートで。
新しいフレーバーをやっぱりずっと次は何かなっていうふうに待ってる消費者の方が多いです。すぐ買いたいですっていうことが多いですね。
And for good reason. In Japan, KitKats have evolved into more than just a sweet treat.
キットカットは日本語のキットカツっていうのにすごく発音が似てて、受験の行く時にキットカットで応援しようと。っていう風にして始まって、それがどんどん広がって、今はですね、何かチャレンジするっていう時に、頑張ってねと、きっとうまくいくよと、っていうことでキットカットを渡す。本当にチョコレートを超えた。
And for those of you who think it's all business for Chef Takagi, give me a break.
やっぱり人を喜ばしたり、感動させたり、驚かしたり、いろんな種類のキットカットがないと、いろんなその幅の広い人たちに喜んでもらえないんですよ。